been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony here with the Zero Duck 30 podcast. If you've been following us for a while, you know that the app we love to use for all of our GPS and our hunt planning and all that is the Huntwise app. Tony, why don't you tell our followers what we got going on with the Huntwise app?
You guys, 20%. If you go to Huntwise and download the app and enter code DUCK30, you're going to get a 20% discount. And that's off the Elite and the Pro versions. And at a bare minimum, just go download it for free and check it out. If you got any questions about it, send us a message. We'll be glad to help you out.
Heck yeah. So today's guest, you might see this fellow in the background. Super excited to have him on. His name's Gavin Powell. We've been friends going back to high school, and just one of my best friends, really. And he's, if you've seen any of our YouTube videos, the entrance to our YouTube videos is the end, which is Gavin's song. And Gavin's been in Nashville doing his thing, and we're excited to have him on to talk about his music and just shoot the shit for you guys. So, Gavin, why don't you kind of just give him some background on your music, how that came about?
Yeah, who are you, man?
Well, man, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me on here.
For sure,
what y'all are doing is great, and I see the passion and like just the grind y'all are putting into to really try and make this work. And
appreciate that, man.
I have a lot of respect for it, and this is so cool. Being down here in the basement, like filled with all the ducks and ducks and bucks and stuff like that, and it's really cool. But I moved to Nashville back in September. So just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Jacksonville / St. Augustine my entire life, and never really came from like a musical background. My grandma I knew played piano growing up my entire life. I think she played at Carnegie Hall in New York City, which is like
oh nice,
a really famous place. So
wow.
She played piano there in high school or something like that. So that's pretty cool. I've never really touched the keys, so I couldn't tell you about that. But my parents, not really. My dad, growing up, I listened to grunge rock because of him. It was always Pearl Jam and Nirvana and all the Chris Cornell bands and stuff like that, And so I was in Metallica.
Yeah.
I was kind of immersed in that growing up as a kid. Hell, even like when I was like 7 years old, I was listening to like Green Day.
Yeah.
At like 7. Like that's crazy to think
American
about.
Idiot.
Yeah.
For sure.
And my mom listened to more of like the Billy Joel kind of, there's some country, like I think she listened to Shania Twain and like stuff like that, but it was never really country music wasn't really a heavy influence in our house. And I remember we had some neighbors across the street who always used to have CMT on the television with like the country music, like countdowns with videos, and I would go over to their house and they would always have it on, and I was like, man, what is this country music? I thought they were the biggest rednecks, and stuff for listening to that, watching it all the time. And I think the first like time I ever heard country music and someone like really love it was those neighbors. Her name's Taylor. She was listening to I don't even remember the song. It was like I went skydiving.
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw. Yeah. And I think that was like the legit first country song I've ever heard in my entire life.
Wow.
When I was like 7 or 8.
What a good one.
And so anyway, kind of like fast forward, I grew up playing sports like my entire life. Like, it never was musical. Like, I would ask for like guitar sometime, but I messed around with like Guitar Hero or something like that, right. Never really picked it up. And then I got a guitar in high school, or middle school rather, and it just collected dust in my room. Like, I messed around with it, but nothing really too serious. I remember one time, this ridiculous story, like me and my brother got airsoft guns one time for Christmas, and I thought it'd be a great idea to shoot my guitar with my airsoft gun.
Damn.
Like an idiot.
Yeah.
And I like broke all the strings, like with the airsoft gun. It was ridiculous. But fast forward later to my junior year of high school, I was like, I actually want to try to learn guitar, like for sure. So my dad's like, all right, like I'll look around and see, if we can get you a guitar. And he started looking on Craigslist, and it's actually the guitar I brought with me today. He found this guitar. It's this 1993 made in Korea Epiphone hummingbird, and he got it for $100.
Wow.
On Craigslist with the case too.
Wow.
And if you look now on eBay, it's like at least $1,000.
Wow.
You know, so like he got a steal, and it's like it's got a lot of character, and like so to go back to the story, I started just learning on YouTube, like trying to immerse myself and really how to play this thing. I was listening to like pop country at the time too. It was like Florida Georgia Line, and like I mean I love Eric Church, so I'm not gonna bash on Eric Church, but a lot of Eric Church. I think the first song that I ever learned to play was Talladega.
Nice.
By Eric Church. And there's actually a video of me doing that. I think I sent it to you.
That's awesome.
Which is kind of cool. Now think about that. Maybe we can like plug that into this.
Dude, that'd be great if we could find that video.
I have the video. Like we get the audio or something. Just hear how terrible
I'd love that.
I was, which was pretty funny. But
that's awesome.
Man, so yeah, started really diving into guitar, and then I was like, well, I can play guitar. Like, I wonder if I can like play at my church. So I was like, let me reach out to some, the choir and see if they need like a guitarist. And sure enough, they're like, yeah, come on. So like on Sundays, I would go to church and sit back and kind of mess around and play. And there was other people playing guitar in the choir that I kind of learned from a little bit, and just started picking up stuff there too. But I was never really singing then. I was kind of real shy about that still. And then I went to college and I stopped playing sports, because high school's over, and Tristan and I played football together. I'm grown up, by the way. So we were actually just talking about that earlier, how much fun that was. But so I got to college and didn't really have, any sort of hobby or like, I was like, I need to do something that like I'm really passionate about, and I can spend time really trying to work on. Other than, sports. And I was like, well, I've been playing guitar for a little bit. Like, why don't I like try to sing and see what happens? And I went to Florida State University in Tallahassee, and like I spent every summer in Tallahassee, and like I would go work, at some shitty, bussing job at one of the bars, Madison Social. And I get home and I just like would immerse myself in trying to sing and play the guitar more proficiently. And, yeah, it was a great time, and I got to my sophomore year of college, and I was living with some buddies, and we actually used to live across this place called the Warehouse, which is this old rundown piece of shit building.
I was gonna say it didn't sound like it was starting off on a good note.
Yeah,
it was called the Warehouse. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and it was literally like a 2-minute walk from my apartment, and I had heard that they had like open mics there every Wednesday, and I was like, man, one of these days I'm going to go over there and try to do the open mic.
Heck yeah.
But I never got the courage to do it, and I regret it to this day, man. Like, it was literally like hop and a skip away, and never went over there. But then I also heard that Florida State also had an open mic, and there was one more left of that school year, my sophomore year, and a buddy of mine who was doing comedy at the time, he was like, hey, I'm going to do this open mic, do a comedy sketch. Like, you should come and play a couple of songs. And I was like, all right, like, I'll do it. And so I went there with an original song that I had written at the time. And then I think I played Brent Cobb's Let the Rain Come Down. And I remember going up there, and I had like friends come out, and it was like the coolest thing, like it was a room full of people, and my knees were shaking. Like, I was so damn nervous to get up there for the first time, because it was the first time I like played in front of anyone like on the stage. Like, I think we had like sit around the campfire a good bit and kind of messed around singing before that, but really in front of like a whole crowd where I had to like figure out what to say in between each song and like how to introduce songs and stuff like that. It was really nerve-wracking, and I did it. And my buddy Joe Noto was there too, and he was like, he'd been playing for a couple of years at that time, and I remember he was just like a mentor to me. Even though he was younger than me, like he was like, "Hey, like you can do this better," and I was just trying to like get all the information I could of how can I, be better at this and try to grow. And so, so I did that performance, and it was great, but we have a video of that too. It was just, you look back on it, like that was 4 years ago. actually last week my buddy Jeff sent me a video from it, and he was
Wow.
like, look at this. So it was 4 years ago that I performed in front of anyone for the first time, which is
Wow.
crazy to think about. That like
is.
4 years, that's not a lot of time.
No,
man.
it's not.
You know,
It's
And,
not.
Yeah, and
But you know what? You could
Yeah.
have started it 4 years ago and did 10% of the shows that you've done,
yeah,
and not have the experience that you've
Right.
smashed. I mean, you've just taken the bull by the horns.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah.
that's what I love about it, is that you just keep pushing, man, and just keep going. It's
Yeah.
a good story.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I did that, and I was like, all right, let me do this. And I was like, well, I wonder if I can play with a band. Like, that'd be really sweet to play with some other people. And same thing, just go back to the church. I think, the church has always had, music is such an influence in the church.
Sure.
And I was
Mhm.
like, well, I'm sure there's some guys that I can pull together. And so I found some players, and that summer, we got this little band together, and we used to practice in this little kind of shack shed thing. We used to squeeze in there and try to learn all these songs. And I was playing like electric guitar at the time, some like crappy Epiphone Les Paul, and like I had this little amp, and I like thought it sounded so great, but like you look back and it was just like I was just trying to crunch, way too hard. It's just so funny. And so we played at this brewery in Tallahassee called Lake Tribe Brewing Company, and I had a buddy who was bartending there, and he told me, he's like, hey, if you ever want to come and play, we'll let you. Like, he's like, we're not going to pay you anything because, we've never really heard you before, but, this could be a cool little start for you. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So got the little band together, and sure enough, we played at Lake Tribe for the first time. I think you were there
I was
too
there,
for that.
yeah.
Man, you've been around a little more than I thought.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so we played at Lake Tribe for free, and had a whole bunch of people come out. And
I got a picture of that actually somewhere. I'll try to find that.
yeah. So that was really cool. And they had me back a couple more times, still playing for free, playing for tips, and just trying to cut my teeth that way. And then that band ended up breaking up, and I actually started getting plugged in with some fellas in the music school at FSU, which was a whole nother move. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a music school at FSU. There's got to be great players there,
Sure.
And so found some really good buddies of mine, like Jonathan Hartsfield and Mason Palanti and Ian Lau, and we started this band called Auger Ridge, which was really cool. And that was like my first like endeavor of trying to record my music. And so we recorded a project that way, and then obviously you go through college and you graduate, and everyone kind of goes their separate ways. And so that happened, and I got to the end of my, 5th year, and I was just kind of solo doing my own thing, and still playing a ton. So we would travel to Bainbridge, Georgia, and Thomasville, Georgia, and played a bunch of shows back in Jacksonville, and I played in like Port St. Joe, like in the Panhandle.
Oh, wow.
And Atlanta, and a good bit. I traveled a good bit in college, and I graduated, and I was like, man, what am I going to do with this? Like, is it something that I really want to pursue, or do I just want to move back home and start working, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to figure that out. And I was like, man, when I'm on my deathbed, like, I don't want to have any regrets, I was
For
like,
sure.
I feel like if I didn't move to Nashville and at least give it a shot, like, I would have regretted it my entire life, you know?
Totally agree.
And, yeah, it's just crazy. So, I moved up there in August or September, and it's been great. I've met a lot of fantastic people and been writing a ton of new material and playing a good bit. There's a good little spot down on Printer's Alley called Jane's Hideaway that I've been playing at frequently. That's just really cool. And I'm trying to find who I am as an artist. I think, we all are as artists, and kind of what direction, I want my art to take me, and, who I want to be, and what I want my sound to be like. And Nashville's been a great place for that, because there's so many different influences.
Sure.
And so many people playing so many different things that it's just really cool being a part of that, like, internal, like, creative process of really trying to figure it out. And yeah, that's kind of my story. I had a show last night here in Atlanta, so that's why I'm down here. I played at a little place called Firemaker Brewing, so shout out to them.
Yeah.
It was a good time, and
Hell of a time.
that's what I've been kind of doing is weekend warrior kind of shows. I've been traveling a good bit. I was in Memphis last weekend and been in Knoxville and little towns around Nashville like Cookeville and Sparta and like little stuff like that. So just trying to get out and make some fans and meet some people and
Sure.
Just trying to get my face, out there, man. And yeah, that's a little bit about me, I guess.
I'm curious, Gavin.
Yeah.
As I'm hearing you talk, how important is it for you? And I don't know if this is important or not,
Mm-hmm.
but as you're talking about, being you're kind of boots on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
with being in Nashville and,
Yeah.
and good for you to be bold enough because somebody has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, every person had to take that step,
Yeah.
to be successful. And, but, is it important for you to get out yourself and listen to the other artists so that you get a sense of what the trend is?
Oh my goodness.
Are you listening for that as an artist? Like when you listen to new music coming out by people and stuff, is that how you're kind of trying to split the hairs, or, as they say,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So in college, I just became, I've skipped this whole part. Like in college, I started becoming obsessed with country music. Like my dad, for the first time, my freshman year of college, showed me Sturgill Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I grew up listening to Nirvana because of my dad. And Sturgill covered a Nirvana song, and my dad's like, "You got to listen to this guy. Like this is in bloom, And I listened to it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And I remember I would like ride the public bus to my classes my freshman year, and just listen to all the Sturgill Simpson albums, and that just took me down a rabbit hole of so many great people. And then I started listening to all the old school stuff like Lefty Frizzell and obviously Johnny Cash and Hank Sr. and stuff like that, and just deep dive. And then I found like Tyler Childers like my sophomore year. That was in like 2017, and
I was gonna say real
Yeah.
quick, he put me on to Tyler Childers like well before Tyler Childers blew up. Like I'm talking like a long time ago, like probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Mhm.
And the closest big city to Tallahassee is Atlanta, where they have a lot of those guys come through and do concerts. And so a lot in college, I would drive up to Atlanta to see other artists, kind of in the same wheelhouse that I would put myself in. But as it goes in Nashville, same thing. I'm trying to get out more and see other artists, on stage and pull some influences. And it's really just like trying to immerse yourself in that niche,
Sure.
of what you're trying to do. Because country music is such a wide variety of pockets of genres, and it's really hard to describe what you are. So that's tough, but I don't know. Yeah, I've really, it's important to see other artists and listen to other artists' albums if they come out. Like I'm always looking on Fridays for like who are the other artists in my genre that are coming out with stuff, and just seeing what they're doing. And that is important. That's a good
cool.
question. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Heck yeah, man. And I know you're itching you were telling me to get in the studio to record some of the new stuff you got. You just got stacks of songs or what?
Yeah, I've been writing
I did me too.
I've been writing a good bit. Especially with like other people too. I've been writing with this real cool guy. His name's Jackson Emmer. He lives out in Colorado, and we've been just writing over like Zoom. Like that's a cool thing that we can do now. And this girl named Claire Kelly, we've been writing a good bit, and it's really like I've never really like collaborated with other people before writing until I moved to Nashville. So it's a whole different ballgame of me trying to learn how to write with other people.
Sure.
So yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Heck yeah. And man, your show yesterday, we had a freaking blast at.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, man. Because I hadn't seen you play since, me and Katie were just talking about
It's
it.
been a good bit.
It has been a good bit. It's been like probably a solid like year and a half, 2 years. So it was good to see you play yesterday. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it was a blast. Yeah, it's funny that Gavin
Outside of my living room.
Gavin's talking about finding himself, and y'all look him up and listen to him, because to me, he's already found himself in his own sound. He's got a very You got a powerful voice, dude. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, you came on. This is just from the outside looking in. You know, I saw you just a 15-second commercial on me seeing Gavin progress. You know, was all right. Gavin goes out and smashes people on the football field and lifts weights 20 times his body weight, and does all this stuff. And then he's playing the guitar, and he comes over a couple times, and the boys have some beers, and Gavin plays the guitar, and Tristan played the guitar. I'm like, damn, you know. And then we started this 0 Duck 30 thing, and Tristan said, Dad, have you heard this song called The End by Gavin? I said, no, I haven't heard it yet. And I was like, damn, dude. I was like, it blew my mind how fast you progressed. So good for you, man.
Thanks,
yeah, and I know you keep working harder, so it's just going to get better.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all for using that song.
Dude, we love it because it's kind of made, you know, it's a unique thing to our videos, you know. You know, people might use some other like big song or, you know, not that, just like, you know, a commercialized, like some kind of bullshit, you know. And ours is like truly unique that nobody's using a Gavin Powell song as the entrance to their duck hunting videos, you know, which is badass. And,
yeah, no, it's kind of who we are in an image, and you're part of that, you know, so it's very cool. You know, there's been plenty of times where Gavin's been in the outdoors with us that we can't talk about on podcast today. But anyway, Tristan, go ahead, or Gavin.
Well, man, speaking of stuff in the outdoors, man, Gavin
got stories, man.
Gavin was part of the Great Beef Stew incident.
Should we talk about it?
Dude, we got to talk about the Great Beef Stew. Was that 2018 or 2017?
2017.
Was that 2017?
Great Beef Stew incident of 2017.
Yeah.
You want me to tell her, or you don't want to tell her?
I mean, well, so basically,
I was the one who got killed, basically.
Well,
so
let me set it up. I'll set it up. So we go up to Osceola National Forest, and we're going to go camping in this area. The state takes a really good care of it. We have this pop-up camper, and we stop by Walmart like any other time you go camping, and we got our stuff. And you know, one of the things I love to eat camping is, and don't hate, is beef stew in the can. I like it. It's good. It's healthy, I guess. But it's easy because you can just, you know, pop the lid open and put it on the fire and warm it up and eat right out of the can, you know, while you're camping. So long story short, we get there and we're drinking beer all night, and I thought, man, I'm hungry. And I thought, dude, and I bought an extra large can of the
this thing was huge.
The Denny Moore. It was as tall as this microphone. It must have been their commercial size.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, like the big jars of mayonnaise, but this was giant can. Well, anyway, it's this big old can of Denny Moore stuff. And so I go get it. I was like, yeah, and we go over and I put it on the edge of the fire, and we keep drinking beer. We're rocking out, drinking beer, whatever, shooting our bows, I think, in the headlights of the truck. And like, you want to take it from there?
No, I know exactly what happened. So Tony goes and gets his beef stew, puts it in the fire, like doesn't think about it, you know, whatever. And then y'all are like, let's go shoot shotguns. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
let's go shoot shotguns. So, you know, before it gets dark. And we're like, all right, let's do it. So we took your truck and went down some of the, you know, the roads or whatever. And we stopped at a spot and we're just shooting your 12 gauges and everything. And and you're like, all right, let's go back. And so we get back to the campsite. It's dark as shit. You know, we're just sitting around drinking. And I think y'all were like up and I was the only one sitting by the fire. And all of a sudden, this can of beef stew explodes. Explodes right in my damn face. I'm like sitting like 2 feet from this damn fire. So imagine just hot ash and hot beef stew fucking exploding everywhere. Thank God I was wearing jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt because I got covered in hot ash and beef stew. And damn, thank God nothing like the metal didn't, you know, cut me or something. I was crazy as hell.
I swear it was like you would really feel like when a bomb goes off. It goes like you felt this suction out of the air first. Like, it's like boom.
Yeah, it was, man. And
I PTSD from it. I swear.
It was louder. It was louder than any backfire from a car, louder than any shotgun or bazooka I've ever heard, dude. And so we look, it blew. Didn't we fall? You guys fell backward in the chairs, I think. Or Drew did. Somebody fell back. Well, we look up. And the chairs,
I guess Drew was sitting there with me.
The chairs are on fire.
Yeah, the chairs was burning. There was singes
little
in it.
pieces of coal and beef stew burning everywhere. And dude, I look up, and the whole side of the pop-up, the whole side is just covered in beef stew, carrots, and pieces of beef, and potatoes all stuck in the netting, just all over, dude. And Drew was so drunk. I look over. He didn't even notice. He had burn holes.
Yeah.
Like all the way through his shorts.
So funny, dude.
And he didn't even notice it. And he's been known to still wear those shorts. But I still have 2 of those red chairs. And so every time I pull them out, I go, excuse the holes. This is from the Great Beef Stew Incident of 2017. So that's that story.
Man, I'm glad we got to share that with you guys, because I didn't plan on talking about that today, but like we probably would have never brought that up on the podcast.
No. And just to be clear, when we did shoot the shotguns, it was before we drank beer at a public range, and then we came back and drank beer with no shotguns.
Yeah.
But we did have bows, and we were shooting bows in the headlights at targets.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but that was a hell of an experience. And you remember that time when we went up to Osceola and did the 4-wheeling? That was a good time. You had you still had you had the Toyota. You just got the Toyota.
Yeah, we did a little bit. Just riding some
we didn't
trails.
get crazy.
Yeah.
We just went. There was pretty much flooded out.
Oh
Yeah, and we were just going like through that mosquito larvae infested areas, through the swamps and
it was
stuff.
nasty. I remember we woke up one morning and there was like larvae falling from the damn trees, and like it was getting everywhere, like itching like crazy. You're like, what is going on? It was ridiculous.
Oh man,
Florida's a different beast. Man.
There is, man.
It is.
We were just talking the other day with on Buck Gardner podcast on their podcast, and he was asking us, what's it like duck hunting in Florida, and asking us about alligators and stuff, and we're like, oh yeah, they're there. They've eaten our ducks.
I bet, man.
It's wild, bro.
For sure.
But so Jacksonville Sunrise EP.
Yeah,
so,
y'all got that up there.
Yeah, man. So that came out in 2021, right?
Yeah, October of 21.
Heck yeah.
So yeah.
Heck yeah, man. There's some bangers on there.
Yeah. The Jacksonville Sunrise, it was it's the title track. So there's a song on there, obviously, called Jacksonville Sunrise. And, it was inspired by the first time I brought my lady home to meet my parents.
Oh,
Yeah, so brought her home to Jacksonville, and because her family lives in Tampa, and we were at school together, and so things were getting serious. I was like, you should come home and meet my parents, and so did. And the next morning, like, we got up and went and saw the sunrise in Jax Beach.
That's
and,
cool.
It was a cool little moment. I always remember it, and so that song was inspired by that. But
heck yeah.
there's a lot of awesome songs on that. And I think it's just 5, and all my music we recorded in Tallahassee at this really cool studio called Gasoline Alley, and it was built in like the 70s.
Oh wow.
So it's like super vintage, and you could tell like a lot of drugs have been done in the studio from all the hippies back then and everything. And we recorded everything pretty much almost live. So especially for Jacksonville Sunrise EP, like it was me, a backup singer doing harmonies. Her name's Lola, and then we had Holly Riley on the fiddle. Who's in Montana. She lives in Montana now, but she was at FSU getting her doctorate in ethnomusicology.
Wow.
Crazy. So super blessed that I was able to, play with her. And then we had Vincent Moore on the bass, and then John Hartsfield, who rips on guitar. So like if you're here in west of Houston and Keep My Love Alive, like that's him just ripping. And we all just got in one room together and pressed record.
Wow.
And whatever happened.
Wow.
So I gotta ask, like, now that you're in Nashville and everybody's gone in their different areas, I know you're wanting to record soon.
Yeah.
So like, how do you go about putting together your team of people to record with you
Yeah.
in the studio? Like
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can go to about either two ways. You can, record with hired guns of people you've never met before that are just like fantastic players. And, if you're working with like a specific producer, the producer's usually got, a phone book of people that he likes working with, for instance. So you could go about it that way, or I could, some of the cats I've been playing with in Nashville already, I could just be like, hey, do you want to play with me? You like on this next record? And,
Nice.
they'd probably be like, yeah. And so we all get in there. So it really just depends of kind of like what approach I want to go for. So yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, and you're wanting to, do you kind of have like a target of when you're wanting to put out a new album, or like, when are you thinking? As soon as possible, or what?
Maybe. There's some life events that they're happening
Sure.
soon. So I assume that we're gonna start recording probably in the fall.
Yeah.
So probably around the fall, August or September, and then however long it takes for stuff to happen. Probably in 23 we'll have something new out. But yeah, I've got a lot of songs that I'm itching to get out there, man.
Are you looking to keep it in like the EP format where it's like 4 songs, or are you gonna do like a longer kind of project this time?
I'll probably do a longer project and try and get a label actually to release it. So I'm gonna be doing
Nice.
like a lot of pitching and making it real deal, and eventually get some vinyl and stuff like that.
Heck yeah. Be killer.
So yeah, we're gonna work on that real soon. But yeah, trust me, I'm itching.
Nice.
Like if I could put out a song every day, I would. All year long. But yeah, it's a process, and I want to make sure that we're gonna do it right. So get all the songs crafted perfectly, because it's kind of funny. Like in college, I'd written like everything you hear on on Spotify and Apple and all that, all my records, I wrote like by myself.
Wow.
And at the time that I recorded them, those were like the only songs I'd written. So like now I have like a good bit of songs that like I can pick and choose from.
Yeah.
So that's better, and like you can be more flexible of like, okay, what's like the actual like best song, like out of this group of 20, or something.
Sure.
And but back then we kind of just were like, yeah, this is what I got, so let's record it. And like, turn out, I love my old songs, but yeah, we're definitely gonna try and make it a little more, intentional and polished, and get it going. So yeah,
Man, one of the things that I like love seeing yesterday, compared to when I had seen you last, and just the music you put out over the years with Auger Ridge and then as yourself, is I can tell such a difference in your vocal range, man. Like your high and low end is just getting so good. Like, not that it was bad then, it's just you can tell your
it
growth.
was bad.
Nah, man. But your growth has just been crazy. So you can definitely tell you are working at it,
Yeah. I mean, I think it just came with experience and like gigging experience. Like,
Sure.
We can go back and listen to my old videos. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I sound like crap. Like, I did, but I just didn't have the experience, and like playing live in front of people and really trying to gauge like the room I'm playing in with like the echo and reverb and everything like that. And just, the repetition of singing the songs, and really just, and finding my voice too was huge, because I didn't know what my like true voice was when I first started. Like I was trying to be this like real like kind of like put as much like dirt and gravel in my voice as I could, because I thought that was like the cool thing to do. And then I realized like, no, I actually have like a great like higher register that I can really work with. And I was like, I don't need to be growling all the damn time. Like at some points like it's great for a little more harder stuff, but like so I really just through repetition and through experience kind of found my voice and how I can use it
Sure.
to the best of my ability. So yeah, man.
Heck yeah, man.
So I got a question for you. So let's just talk about a minute. We're all about the reality of everything here at Zero Duck 30. So let's talk about the reality of, you go in to do a show. What are some of the challenges, some of the hurdles that you have to face as a guy on the road? Outside of just the normal things like a flat tire, or you don't feel good, or all those types of things. Those are things you can't control. But but like you get to a crowd that's tough that night. Do you have to feel like sometimes you have to turn it up a notch on your showmanship and things like that?
Absolutely.
And talk about that, like what you've learned with all those performances.
Yeah, I've learned a lot that you can't just like go into a show like. Okay, so this is speaking from like a perspective where if you're playing like a gig, like a 3-hour show or something like that, like a brewery or something like that, you can't just go in and, especially if you're trying to be an original artist, just go in and play a bunch of covers and be background music and not engage with the audience. That's just, if you're trying to be an original artist, that's just a recipe for disaster. So like I've learned that I am trying to be an original artist. I have to play my original music, you know, so I'm going to go out there, and that's a challenge. I know some people, you know, might not care, but it's about those, you know, handful of people that will be at the show that are actually sitting there paying attention, listening.
Yeah.
That I make a note of, I'm going to keep engaging with you throughout the whole show. And in between breaks and after the show, I'm going to make a note to make sure I go up to you, introduce myself, and, you know, try to, you know, make a relationship there, because that's, you know, that's what it's all about. But just in challenge wise, I mean, man, there can be a lot, you know, the sound, making sure that the sound's right. If like a room is really difficult and you're getting a lot of feedback or something like that, that's always a pain in the butt. You forget guitar picks, you know. I forgot my guitar pick yesterday, and you would think that I would have a bunch on me. And I was like, I called Tristan. I'm like, hey, Tristan, you got any guitar picks at the house, man? I was like, I forgot mine. I'm notorious for that, man. They're so easy to lose.
Yeah.
But broken strings, like that's annoying. And or the best is when you're at a brewery and you're drinking a whole bunch, in between like phrases of songs, I'll have to burp. It's the worst thing, man. Like I'm trying to sing, I'm like, you know, you get a little. So that's a challenge, I guess. I don't know.
That's great.
I don't know. There's a good bit, but
I mean, what happens? You know, like you've had like 5 beers and you're on like a straight set, and you got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that too, man.
Man,
That too.
that's a good point.
Yeah, sometimes I bet you just have to be like, all right, God, I hope I make it.
Yeah. That, or like if I'm playing somewhere that's like an hour outside of Nashville on like a Friday, and like the show gets over at 11, you know, that means I'm getting home way late, you know? So like, that's a thing too. You got to take into factor. That's a challenge of like, all right, well, you know, this is the sacrifice I make, the choice I make, and
True.
You know, we're gonna make it happen.
Yep,
So.
yep. Very cool.
Man, you mentioned relationships and how important that is for you know, meeting people and getting people to engage with you and stuff. And that's something we found to be very important as well. Not only through social media, just and you know, social media engagement, you know, genuinely like talking to people and answering questions and stuff, but people that we meet duck hunting, like on boat ramps, you know, at gas stations, whatever it might be, those have become some of our like best like hunting friends just through happenstance meeting and just talking, you know.
Right.
So it's definitely extremely important. So
Yeah, no, I remember I saw yesterday this gal come running up to Gavin in between songs and was pulling money out of her wallet and stuffing it in a jar, and she's over there. I mean, and she'd had a couple, you could tell, and she was all in his face, and you know, and it was cool to see somebody that excited about his music, is my point. You know, it was fun. I was like, yeah, look at that. So, I'm another fan, you know, which she's going to go and tell 5-10 more people, you know, and that, you know how it works. You know, it's that movie marketing, they call it, you know. So
for sure, man.
Absolutely.
Organic growth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a question for y'all. So like, I know, so we've been duck hunting one time together, and it was the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know if y'all remember that. And you know, asked me to go, and I was like, oh yeah, what time? And you're like, well, I think we're leaving at like 3 or 4 in the morning. What was it? Is that how it
like
usually
3:30,
goes?
4 in the morning.
Yeah, and I was like, shit, okay, I guess we're gonna do this, because I'd never been before, and we ended up going to your place and you know, boating out there and setting up and everything, and it was real cool being with y'all. I'm not much of a hunter, just disclaimer, you know, maybe I'll get into it eventually, but I remember going and just having the best time and coolest time with y'all. And so my question is, like, I know for like deer hunting, you can't really like make a whole lot of noise. Like, you'd be quiet as shit. So like, but duck hunting, I don't really remember. That's why I'm asking. Can y'all like be loud and like play music and like stuff like that, or do you try to be more stealthy. I don't know.
I mean, as far as anything, I mean, if you're seeing ducks and they're starting to get close, then yeah, you might want to be quiet. But if you're just chilling and don't see them, I mean, they're not going to hear it. It's not like deer hunting. Like deer can hear you several hundred yards away.
Yeah.
You can't be making any noise like you said. But that's one of the nice things about hunting is that you can sit there and talk like we are, and you see some ducks coming, you start blowing the call.
Right.
But
yeah, or that, or we get the grill going, get the percolator going, some coffee, get some sausage, some eggs going, And
you can't really do that in a deer stand.
No, no. Well, I guess you could. That's all you're gonna do is eat.
The deer probably smell the food too.
But there's some guy out there, guaranteed. There's somebody out there, a gal, that's they'll watch this and they'll be like, I've cooked eggs all my life for my deer stand. If you play the wind, that's all that matters.
I'm sure.
And he's got a high-powered rifle, and he's never shot a deer less than 100 yards away.
Yeah, that's the stipulation to that.
Yeah, no, but that's funny. That's
funny. One more question. So, what's y'all's go-to like battle song for like duck hunting? Like you're like getting ready to go and like. Or a couple songs, I don't know. Like, what's one song that you're like, I'm listening to this and it's getting me like in the zone?
Dude, that is such a tough question. I'm trying to think of one that I was really like into during this season.
I'll tell you. I'll go ahead and answer. I thought, and it was not this past season, but the season before.
Yeah.
And it was Jason Aldean. They don't know.
Okay, nice.
They don't know, and it's just I don't know. It just. You spend a lot of time in the outdoors, so it kind of puts you in those roots, and it's just relatable, so.
That's cool.
Man, I don't know, dude. There's some fun ones, like 24/7 Hunts, a company that they put out their own, like, rap music as duck hunting. Dude, and some of it's good. Like, there's a song, 60 Days, that I love.
That's funny.
But, man, I don't know. The song that resonates with duck hunting season or hunting season this past year, there's always a song that I'm listening to a lot during that time frame, and the one that I really like is called Red, White, Camo, and Blue, and it's Dylan Carmichael.
Oh, Dylan Carmichael, he's great, man.
And it's just being genuine and being in outdoors and working hard and that kind of stuff. And it was just not that it applies so much to hunting, it's just that during that time frame I was like 4:30 tired, I'd turn that on going to the and kind of wake me up. But that's a good question, dude. Yeah, man.
But no, and quite honestly, your song, "The End," it really fires me up. I was just coming home from work the other day, and sometimes I just like put on one of our videos or something, and I might not be able to watch it, but I listen to it or whatever, and I'm like, this is just such a staple of who we are, it's really good. So, and of course that coupled with the editing Tristan does and stuff, it's who we are.
It's just like it's a hard song. I don't know. It's like
it's just awesome.
Yeah, I've been southbound. I just kind of puts you in a place of like we're traveling on the road, freaking probably drinking too much and being crazy duck hunters.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So
for sure.
If it's so that song, what is, we listen to it and kind of we make our own kind of what we think it's about. What is it about?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to open this can of worms.
Okay,
we can.
What's the short of it if you want to do that?
Yeah,
instead?
So we all have relationships, right? And sometimes, how cryptic do I want to be with this? I just want to open up, man. I'll just open up. Hell, so in college, there was this guy who happened to be dating the girl that I'm dating now. And obviously they broke up at some point, and I started dating her, and I kind of was like, man, he didn't know what he had until it was gone, and not to take a shot at him or whatever, but I was just like, and we all don't. We all don't know. We take stuff for granted, and people in our lives and stuff like that, and you just don't know what you got until it's gone. And so I wrote the song. Then it's like, you don't know what you have until you use it till the end. Yeah, and so like, I'm sure you could relate that to duck hunting. I bet y'all take, like I take music for granted, and my gifts, and y'all have a gift for hunting, and you just don't know what you got until you use it till the end. So
Good point. You can apply that to everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was inspiration behind it, but you can use it for a whole lot of things. But,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Heck yeah, man. Well, hopefully we can get you on a duck hunt one of these years. It's one of the things we talk about a lot is how hard it is to get into duck hunting if you don't have somebody to like help you with it. Because if you just the bare minimum trying to get in as cheap as possible, you're going to be in $1,000 probably.
Really? Okay.
And I mean, and it just goes. You could be in probably $1 million if you switch the high end of it, you know. But it's hard, and then the regulations and stuff. So that's part of the thing we're trying to do is just make it where we can help explain to people, and if people ask us questions, we want to help out and show them, how to get into it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'd rather be that resource for somebody that, or be a field example of doing things the right way, so that if they came and asked us 2 questions about how to go scout on the certain state's public land or something like that, it's just going to make them what every other hunter's wanting from somebody else, and that's they're going to do it in a respectful way. They're going to go do it right, and maybe work with somebody else to be successful, and just teach the right things. And you never know; it could just be one question or one example of helping somebody, and then they keep telling people, and so we're just out to change the whole dynamic of the way people look at the sport. I don't think anybody should be intimidated to go to a public land area in any sport.
Yeah.
And be intimidated to walk into another hunter. Now if you're doing it right before sunrise, shame on you. I'll punch you in the face too. No, I wouldn't. But shame on you for doing that. But no, outside of that, people should be able to feel like they can approach another hunter at the boat ramp, and not that they're going to shoo them off because they're out of state. I'd rather tell these guys, give them some guidance instead of have them running around trying to figure it out and messing up everybody's hunting.
That's true.
Or whatever it might be in that example. So that's just how what we're.
Yeah, I was listening to y'all's. I think it might have been the first podcast where you were talking about how y'all ran into the big group of guys, one of y'all's hunts. Then you ended up like becoming good buddies, and like hunting together. And I was like, that's really cool. And like coming from a perspective where I'm not really hunting. I think you guys do a great job of making it feel like it's not so scary. It's easy to, it can be easy to get into, and and how to approach it from the best way of being respectable and
heck yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
So who would you say, if you had to pick one artist right now, would be your favorite artist?
Oh my gosh.
I know that's a hard question.
Dang, man. See, I'm not a favorites. My people are like, my girlfriend will ask me like, what's your favorite this and favorite that? I was like, baby, you're my only favorite. I don't know. I can share with you like people I've been really digging.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Or just like listening to, I've been listening to, this is old. So there's this fella named Chet Atkins, and
you tell me about that.
And he's a crazy guitarist, did a lot of like instrumental, guitar music, and like now he's notorious in Nashville. Like there's a street named after him and like stuff like that. So I've been trying to like deep diving into like that. Man, there's so many great artists and people I've been listening to. That's a great question. What's the most recent concert I went to? Maybe I can talk about that. I saw this girl named Bella White.
Okay.
Y'all should look up Bella White. She's bluegrassy, and she's from Canada, and she oh man, she kills it.
That's awesome.
Big influence there. Charles Wesley Godwin.
Okay.
He's really great too. You should check him out. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't have favorites, so I don't know.
That made me think of another question. So, being that you've been an artist through COVID, what has been some of the challenges as far as like playing shows? Because I would imagine you've probably still Florida obviously is a place, luckily, that didn't freaking government overlord shut everything down, and thankfully as an artist in Florida at the time, or if you were, you could get out and play these shows. So kind of just talk about the challenges of COVID, if you've had any in Nashville or
or
Florida.
Since I moved to Nashville, there hasn't been really a lot of COVID's been eased up there. But when it first started, I remember I wasn't even playing at all. Like that summer, the first summer of COVID, like I wasn't playing. I was doing like live streams and stuff like that, and, doing that a whole bit. And but nothing, thankfully, knock on wood, nothing too crazy. I haven't really had many shows like canceled or anything like that because of it. And Nashville's pretty much, opened up for the most part. And, not a lot of issues.
Cool.
I'm sure for hunting, like COVID doesn't live in the woods, right?
No.
So.
Yeah, it's been great for hunting, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you before we got off of here, and I don't know if Tristan's got more questions, but so favorite place to eat in Nashville?
The favorites again. Best barbecue, Martin's barbecue.
Nice.
Yeah,
I would just say Martin's. Go to Martin's.
All right.
The best place. The best place to eat. Yeah.
And here's the second question: Biden or Trump?
Oh my gosh! I thought we were going to talk about politics.
That's all we're going. That's all we're doing.
Trump.
Power to the Trump.
So Gavin, why don't you tell everybody like where we can find you?
Yeah.
All those platforms and all that. Where can we? Find you?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at just Gavin Powell Music. It's Gavin with a G and Powell with a P.
Heck yeah. And as far as some of your upcoming shows going on, I know you're coming back to Atlanta July 3rd.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah.
Talk about some of your upcoming shows.
Yeah. Well, for sure, Atlanta, July 3rd at Piedmont Park at this place called Park Tavern.
Nice.
They're doing this thing called Sunset Sessions. And
sweet.
They have a ton of artists from across the country come in for it. So really excited for that. So July 3rd, doing that. And I'd honestly have to look at my calendar. I know next week I'm actually going home. So
nice.
I'm excited to spend some time with the family. I haven't been back home since Christmas. So it'll be a good time seeing them. But yeah, just come out. If you're in Atlanta, come out to July 3rd at Park Tavern.
Heck yeah. So, and definitely if you're in the close to Nashville area, definitely check your boy Gavin out.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, and if you're in Nashville, I'm playing at Jane's Hideaway. Like, I don't know if I mentioned it, but
I think so.
On that Friday in 2 weeks, I don't know the exact date, but I'm playing there from 5 to 7. It's a cool little spot. So yeah,
cool.
You can find all my show dates at either gavinpowell.com or I'll post about it on my socials. So
heck yeah. Well, man, this was solid, and I'm glad we got to dive into some of these things, because even being your friend this long, is just some of the stuff we just don't get into, and some of those deep dives today were fun to talk about. You know,
absolutely, man.
Was he? Is he going to plug up and?
Oh shit! You got to play your song.
We're gonna do a
dude.
sing.
Is he gonna plug up and rock off?
They wanted me to play a song.
So he's gonna rock on some music here. So what we're gonna do is take a quick break, and when we come right back, Gavin's gonna play one right here in the studio for you.
Heck yeah. All right, guys, we're back, and we got Gavin Powell live in studio.
This is a tune called 15 in the Can. This one is about addiction. I know that we all, some way, somehow, have experienced that through family or friends or something. So this one's called 15 in the Can. I can't put it down, I can't pick it back up. You can't go back home when you've ran out of luck. Staring through the souls of those wounded in battle. Our life's like a dagger, and I fell off the saddle. Tell me, who do you serve? Tell me, who do you you serve? And it's 15 in the Bridewell, 15 in the can. And my chains are set free, and the reason ain't me. I done 15 in the can. There's a man on the loose, cutting down dreams, spreading white lies, make you paddle upstream. He'll hold your hand, but you won't understand just how much you'll lose if you don't make a stand. Tell me, who do you serve? Tell me, who do you serve? And it's 15 in the Bridewell, 15 in the can. And my chains are set free, and the reason ain't me. I done 15 in the can. Bound for glory is what I am. The prison walls are painted with the blood of the Lamb. Paradise is waiting, I can see it all around. Trimming my wick while the trumpet sounds. Tell me, who do you serve? Tell me, who do you serve? And it's 15 in the Bridewell, 15 in the can. And my chains are set free, and the reason ain't me. I done 15 in the can. And my chains are set free, and the reason ain't me. I done 15 in the can. Yeah.
Damn,
Wow, man,
Thank you.
dude. Woo. That was beautiful, dude. Thank you for playing that.
Yeah.
That was so good, man.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I know
That
our
was
followers too that haven't seen you, they're gonna love that too.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yep. So you guys got to go, Gavin Powell Music, man. Look him up. Go download his stuff on Spotify, and give him a follow and see where he's going to be next.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for taking the time to come on. It was an absolute blast. And I guess if you guys, you find us on Zero Duck 30 on all the social media platforms. This podcast obviously is on YouTube. That's what y'all are watching, but see it on Spotify and Apple Music as well. And thank you guys for tuning in again. That's pretty much it. You got anything else, Tony?
No, I don't. Be safe out there.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace.
Go Knowles.